Hello, everyone. This is your trainer Akash. I hope you guys are doing great. Today, we are starting some new topics. So, let me just start my screen and let's begin with the topic directly. Also, if anybody have any questions from our previous sessions, the chat box is always open, right? Let's start our simulation, the great Metasploitable. I'll also start my burp suit and Firefox. We have very few people today, but it's okay. We'll start the session anyway. Right. Okay. So today we are actually going to understand the basics of SQL injection. Let me check the IP address for Metasploitable real quick. I think today we have a different one. Oh, it's 1.9 today. All right, there we have it. Metasploitable, DVWA, and let's begin. Okay. Today it's going to be a lot of illustrations. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Tomorrow we're going to have a Q&A on both the topics that we have covered in a couple of days back and today. All right. So here we go. So when we talk about SQL, it's actually short for Structured Query language. What does it mean? Query language. Let's understand the meaning of queries. Queries are nothing but requests that you make. So, in a client and a server model, in a simple client and server, the client is always requesting something from the server. Could be data, could be images, media, information in general. So it keep on sending requests. It keep on sending inquiries, that do you have this image? Do you have this search keyword? Do you have any information about whatever I'm looking for? And in exchange, the server gives a response. Now, obviously, to store all that information, data, media, text files, code, programs, and a lot of stuff, the server needs a storage utility that is called as a database, which is short DB, short for database. This database is that storage unit on the server side, which actually stores all the information. And whenever the client sends a request on the server forwards the request to the database. Database will check if it exists or not, present or not. And based on that, it sends it back to the client. Voice is low. Okay, is everyone able to hear me today? I don't know if it is really low. If it is, let me just check.
No, Akash, your voice is clear.
Voice is clear? Okay.
Yeah.
All right then. Testing. Okay, yeah, good. I just checked on my mic. Okay then. For those who are having it low, can you please turn up the volume on your side? I don't know. So, based on this presence or the absence of that data or that information that is being requested, it sends a response confirming what it actually checked, present or not, right? The response is the least concern. This is least concern right now. Let's focus a little bit more on the request thing, right? This is actually important because this is that keyword which will actually, communicate with our database. If you are the analyst, then please do not consider yourself as a client anymore. Consider yourself as an analyst, right? Now, if an analyst, from an analyst perspective, the server is not a server, it's your target, right? So now the server just became a target. Now there's a database on the target, obviously, right? And actually my target is not the complete server mechanism. My major target is always going to be this database. Why? That's a good question if somebody's asking. The reason is because most of the information that I'm going to require is actually stored in the database only. And if I am able to, get that information out of the database, my work as an analyst is done. That's what I'll be analyzing, that if I am able to manipulate the database or not. Now, for an example, in place of a request, let's just assume the analyst asks for, and the analyst asks for X. Please find X. Okay. It goes on the database. The database confirms if X is present or not, right? And based on that confirmation, it sends a response. Now, what if this X over here is something malicious? What if this X is malicious and this X, when goes on the database, it actually manipulates the database and in that manipulation, it is asking the database to show something which it is not supposed to show. Okay, what if I am asking for X, but database got manipulated and instead of just replying for X, now it's replying for X, Y, and Z. So there are some additional stuff that I also was able to get from the database. So that's how you can actually manipulate by sending certain malicious requests. If your requests are malicious enough, and if they are able to manipulate the database, that's how you actually hack it. Right? Because your only mode of communication with the database is your request that you're able to send from your side. Now, from your yesterday's class, you must be able to recall what is the mode of sending request. There are a few modes. Carefully take a look here. First mode is always the buttons, right? But buttons are very static. The developer have created a button, you can only click on that. And of course, the developer will never create a button that says, okay, hack database, right? He will not create a button that says, okay, hack DB. When you click on that, the DB is hacked. They will never create such a thing. That is why buttons are very static. They are the least thing that you can use for hacking a database. But it is something that you should also consider. The second most important thing is input fields. For example, if this is the interface of your browser and it's taking your username and password in, user password, these two places, these two positions are actually nothing but input fields. Because you're able to put some input in here, whatever input you're going to put, it's going to take it into a variable, into a parameter, and the parameter is sent, right? See, understand the mechanism. I'm showing you the mechanism one more time very clearly. Please understand it. And if you do not understand it in one go, it's okay. Ask me again. It's an important thing to clarify right now. Understand that if this is your browser page, this is your username input, this is your password input, this is your submit button, username, password, and here is a URL, XYZ. Let me write it with red. xyz.com/login.php, u equal to something, and p equal to something. Now see what's happening here. Whatever input the user is going to make, where is he going to make the inputs? Obviously, input field number 1, IF1. And this is IF number 2, input field number 2. Now, in a website, whenever there is an input field, it is for sure there must be a parameter assigned for that input field. An input field is not valid until there is a parameter to carry out the information, whatever you're going to put inside that field. So the parameter assigned for username is U. The parameter assigned for password is P, right? So U is for username, P is for password. That is very much clear now. What are parameters? They are just mediators, they are postman, they carry your letters from one place to another. Similarly, the parameters carry your inputs from your browser to the web server. So this is what the job of parameters is. Whatever you type in, it is stored into parameter. The parameter goes to database. The database will take the value, check, and then respond. That's how it works. So when you click submit after putting in the information, when submit is clicked, what will happen is a connection request will be established to the database, to the web server, obviously. the database exists inside the server. If this is your server, this is where your database would be inside the server. Now, of course, what is being delivered here? It is very obvious to understand. We have username and password, two parameters, right? Now, the input that the user is making, that could be of any number of characters, right? So we cannot handle that many characters because that can be highly variable, and maybe somebody's putting 13 characters, maybe somebody's putting only 4 of them. So the amount of characters is very highly variable. That is why we store them in a temporary parameter, and that parameter is taken as it is. It's like an envelope, so the letter you can be really big, some letters are really small. So to make them aligned, you just add them in an envelope and send it to your destination. So these username and parameter, this U and P basically are those envelopes which are going to have the character strings that you are putting in. Now the database will actually check if these two things really exist in the database or not. So there can only be two conditions here. Either if they really exist, right? If the username and password exist, then the condition will be true. If the username and password does not exist, the condition will be false, right? This is similar to what we learned in brute force, I'm very sure, but we are understanding databases right here. So database have the all storage information, right? It have like a Excel sheet kind of thing, right? And based on those tables and rows, it just finds out if the username and password exist or not. And if it exists, it will send a true or false based on the presence, right? Based on the validation, actually. And then the response is, generated to the browser. Response is obviously going to be either one of them. So this is how database work. Now, tell me if, okay, by the way, oh, sorry. Databases also have a language of their own. Just like website have a language, I told you a couple of languages that websites are using. One of them is HTML. The other one is CSS. There is JavaScript. There is PHP. There is Python. Right? There's so many of them. For databases, to create a database, you need SQL. Structured query language. That means there is a structure created, right, in the form of tables and rows. In this structure, I am sending some queries to figure out specific cell. Let's say if I want data that is stored inside this particular cell over here, I will be sending a request that if it is A, B, C, D, E, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, I will send a specific query to go for 2B, right? That is where this exists, isn't it? On 2B. So this will be my query. So now I'm sending specific queries to get specific information. And this is exactly how the database language is created. Structured query language. You send queries to get out some important information out of databases. For those who know SQL, amazing job. You guys are doing great. For those who do not, trust me when I say this, this one is the most easiest language that you can learn. And I'm not kidding. I taught my mom she have no technical background. She's not even a graduate. She's almost 40 plus year, and she learned SQL and Ruby in less than 1 month. So I'm very sure you guys can excel it as well. It's not that big of a deal. So SQL is one of the most easiest languages. It's simple. It's mostly English, actually. You just have to understand the syntax. It's almost English. So okay, I'll show you some examples as well. Don't worry. For SQL scripts and everything, I'll show you some examples. So this is the basic authentication mechanism that works. The complete mechanism is actually based on two conditions. The success of the whole mechanism is based on these two conditions, either true or false. Because when we are doing something, why are we doing it? To get some result, right? and the result is based on two logics only. These are logic. Either it's logically true, either it's logically false. Either one of them. There's nothing in between. Database cannot say that, maybe it might be true. You know what? I am having, mood swings. I don't know if it's true enough. It's not like that. Database have to be very specific. Either it's true or false. Now, what if instead of a username, okay, listen this very carefully, guys. Instead of a username, I pass on a true condition. I pass on a true logic. Or see, it's actually going to validate. Okay, let me just broaden this thing so you guys can understand better. Rewind, okay, guys, rewind. Going back. I'm taking back what I just said. Consider if this username is coming from the browser, we call it UB, okay? And there is a username that exists on the database, which can be called as UDB, right? Now the true condition will only be there if UB is equal to UDB, right? UB is equal to UDB. UB is here the username coming from the browser. UDB is the username stored in the database. If both of them are equal, then only it will say that this condition is true. Otherwise, if it is not equal, it will go to false. Make sense? Now that I know the database works on logics, it wants true condition. Either way, it wants true condition, right? Otherwise, it will deny. It will just say it's false. It needs true condition to validate. So what if, okay, if you remember maths, it's simple maths, guys. Come on, try to understand here. If A equal to 1 and B equal to B, then if A is equal to B, then B is also equal to 1. This makes sense, right? If A is 1 and B is B, and if A is equal to B, then B is also having value 1, right? Because both of them are ultimately equal. So if, very clearly understand this, if U B, the one that is coming from the browser, is true, okay? And if UDB, that is on the database, is UDB. So when we equate them together to check and verify, something like this happens. Oops. Then UDB also becomes, guess what? True. This statement makes sense. Type yes or no in the chat box quickly if this statement actually makes sense to you. Here, to clarify for those who are not able to understand, UB and UDB is actually username from browser that we got from the browser. And it's a username on database. So this is simple mathematical law, right? So that means if somehow I find a magical spell or something like that, a magical potion from a witch, and if somehow I'm able to prove that UB is true, if I'm able to make this condition possible, then I can manipulate the database to validate the condition, because automatically it will become true. It have to give true now. If the UB that is coming in is already true somehow, we haven't figured it out how, it's hypothetical as of now, It's in the air, it's just fugazi. But if we can make it possible, then there is a possibility that I can manipulate the database to give me a true condition instead of just validating it by itself. But now I'm going to manipulate the database. You know what? I'm giving you true, so please just say it's true. It's like that. Because database needs logic. And if I give the logic, he'll accept it, right? Because I'm giving a logic which is possible. True condition is possible. So I'm giving the same logic. So it will accept it. Similarly, just like for username here, we can implement the same thing for passwords. If the password or from the browser is true and the password on DB is the password from the DB, so that can be same for the password as well. So what I mean to say here is that if I can manipulate these things, both of these to be true somehow, if the true logic, the concept of true logic can be passed on to the database directly, it will give me the true condition, right? Obviously, it will give me. Otherwise, if I give some character string, it will compare, and based on that comparison, it will tell me that if it's true or not. But what if I don't let it compare? What if I give it that, okay, you know what, I'm giving you truth. Say it's true. It will say it's true because I'm giving the logic. Now, let's understand how this hypothetical situation can be really made possible. This is interesting, right? Yes, I know SQL is very interesting. Okay, now let me explain you. This is simple maths, by the way. I know I'm teaching computer science and the maths. It's important, guys. So if 1 plus 1 equal to 1, does it make sense? I know it does not, does it? Also, if I say 1 plus 0 is 0. It doesn't make sense, right? Does it? I know it does not, because this is computer logic. See, computers only works in two things, zeros and one. And the actuality behind the logic of 0 and 1 is 0 stands for false and 1 stands for true conditions. When a condition that is passed on to the computer, if the condition is true, it is passed on as 1. If the condition is false, it's passed on as 0. So that's how zeros and ones are working. Computer works on complete logic. It works on true and falses. It works on zeros and ones, right? So yeah, a lot of people are actually able to understand this, which is really good. Awesome job. You guys know it. Great job. Nice. Maybe you guys can help your colleagues or the people who are working with it. Yeah, so that's how it works. Now, this plus symbol actually represents not the mathematical addition here, but rather a condition that says and. 1 and 1 is equal to 1. Obviously, if you see, this condition is true, this condition is true. So the resultant is also true. But if one condition is true and the other is false, then your result will be false. Make sure I am mentioning here and. For those who already know it, I'm just mentioning and here. When we put and, apple and oranges, then if I say I am going to eat apple and oranges, that means I'm going to eat both of them, right? So that means both of them need to be in the concern. But what if I say I'm going to eat apple or an orange? So it's going to be one of them, right? So even if I'm going to eat one of them, my statement is still true. I am going to eat, but one of them, I'm not going to eat both of them. If I say I'm going to eat apple and oranges, the oranges also need to be present. If oranges are not there, then how my statement is true? That means I'm only going to eat apple. I'm lying about the orange. That's why it's a lie. It's a false. But if I say I'm going to eat one of them, so even if the orange does not exist, I can still eat apple. My condition is still true. This is why 1 or 1 is 1. This is true. But if 1 or 0 is equal to true, because even if 0 does not exist, I still have a true condition. Even if oranges did not exist, I still have an apple. If I say I'm going to eat one of these, I can eat an apple, right? That means the condition is still true. It's one. So that's the difference between and or. I know we are combining English literature and grammar with maths here, but that's computer logic, right? It doesn't have to make sense. It does make sense to the computer. That's what it works, right? So let's just keep it that way. But we understand this thing, right? So this is simple stuff. You guys can listen to me on repeat on the recording section. But this is a simple matrix that you understand. If one condition and the other condition is true, then it will be true. Now, somehow, by this statement over here, I actually achieved the goal of what just happened? Hold on a second. My pen's acting funny. Just give me a second. I'm sorry. I hate it when this happens. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, now it's working. So, what I mean to say, by this logic, actually, I'm able to prove my hypothetical situation into reality. If I say 1 plus 1 equal to 1, and this induces the logic of true, isn't that exactly what we are going to do here in UB and PB, right? We want to this thing. So if in place of this username and password that we are putting in the browser, in the name of username, if I add this kind of a condition, if I add this condition over here, 1 plus 1 equal to 1. Okay. Similarly, if I put the same thing in 1 plus 1 equal to 1, if I pass on this thing in the database, now this takes place of UB. This takes place of PB. And also like, yeah. So if you take a look here, UB and PB now are 1 or 1 equal to 1, which is true. PB is also true. And if both the true conditions are passed on to the database, what is it going to give you? True, right? This sounds interesting, right? See, exactly this is how most of the databases are hacked when it comes to username and password. And if I can show you this, am I audible? Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know when exactly I went on mute, but I was just showing you that this is the same logic that we are going to induce in a login form. If we can, actually put the same logic in the username and password, we can make the database to validate it instead of, using the real username and password. So that's what I'm going to show you. Just give me a second. Just a second. I'm trying to get some example for you. I'm looking for the website if I can show you that or not. I just need to confirm it real quick. Give me a second, guys. Okay. Okay. I can actually show you this. Okay. So let's go on this simulation website. Remember, El Toro Mutual. Okay. You see, this is a banking simulation, by the way. So here we have a sign-in functionality on the very top, if you can see right here, right? So I will actually sign in. I click on sign in, and here I have a login page. Now, obviously, I don't have it. And by the way, I know security, right? I know SQL and I know stuff. So how about I show you a way without knowing the username and password, you can actually log in. Carefully take a look. I'm writing a condition here, 1 or 1 equal to 1. Is this condition true? Yes, it is. But when we type something uh, in the input field, I'm sorry, I forgot the word. When we type something in the input field, what happens is it goes through a database in a different way. So if something is going in this part over here, when it will go to the database, it will be stored in a certain fashion. I'll show you what I mean by that. It will be stored like you know what? I don't need to tell you this. Just a second. Okay. So let's give it a try. If I try this condition over here in this username and password field, let's see what happens. I type 1 or 1 equal to 1. The same thing I'm going to copy and I am going to paste in here. Same. It says, sorry, it's not in the system. If I pass on this same condition in the username and password field, it says it is not in the, it's not the right credential that you're trying to put. So what could be the reason? Actually, when you pass on certain character string, it is taken as a set of characters. It does not take this as a statement. If you want to provide this as a statement, you have to make some exceptions by putting some colons or some inverted commas. So if I put it this way, 1 or 1 equal to 1, that means these or and that equal to is not a character statement. It's not a character string, but it is a statement. It's a piece of code that I want to execute. So when I put this inverted commas, it takes it as a piece of code instead of just a instead of just a string. A string is a set of characters. So now if I put it, if you will see the difference, 1 colon or colon inverted comma or inverted comma, 1 same thing, 1. You see how it's going to put now? So now if I copy this and paste it, and now if I try to log in, what does it say? Admin user. See the difference? I got it, right? And trust me, this we have seen in a lot of places. Sonali got it absolutely right. She says that we are getting your idea. It means that if we give input in username and password, then it will match with the data available in the database. And after processing, it will get the correct response. You got it absolutely correct. You got the idea. Great. Right. If we were in like in a live class, I would have made some clappings for Sonali. She deserve it. Okay. Anyway, admin user, we got it right. That's the goal. We are able to perform it. And actually, by these true conditions, we can actually manipulate the database in a multiple other ways. We can try multiple true conditions here. So let me show you something called as an SQL word list. Hmm. Okay, this word list over here, these all conditions are actually true by the logic of SQL. For those who do not know SQL, it's okay. It's simple to understand. If you really give it a week, like dedicated week, trust me, you can crack it. It's simple. It's very, you can at least get the fundamentals of it. I won't say that you will become a database expert, right? I will not claim that. It may take a couple of months, but in a week, at least you can get the basic idea. 2 hours a day, trust me, go on YouTube or in my drive, I uploaded some really good content there for web application hacking. If you go through that, trust me, you'll be good to go ahead. It will be great. Okay, on that note, this was the true conditions, and these all can be true conditions for SQL. You can try any of these, they will work out because they are all true. If in case this basic condition doesn't work for 1 or 1 equal to 1, if it doesn't work, you can try any of these. And I have added this in the notes section of my database. I want to show you my database real quick because there's a lot of new stuff going on in there. This is the database I'm specially creating for you guys, by the way, because I have added a lot of new things in there and things are still on upload. I'm still uploading some stuff. I have expanded my drive to 2 terabytes for you guys. So you guys are worth it. So if in the online training, there are now ebooks, there are additional notes, there is study material. In the study material folder, you will see all the videos, right? I have added as many videos as possible. If you will go, especially this collection I'm going to show here, the collection for plural site courses, you will see here there are hundreds of them for almost everything that you really want to learn. These are all video lectures. You can download it, save it, share it, whatever you want to do. I don't care. These are some zip files as well. You can also download and save it. These are some really big files, like 2 or 4 gigabytes. So I have to compress it to upload it here. So make sure you save this drive. I'm going to add some more real good stuff. If I have to expand it to 4 terabytes, I'll do it. No problem. If you want some more specific stuff, let me know. You can fill a form in this file over here. In this file, there is a content request form. You can fill your request and I will definitely respond. You can see when you open the file, there is this content request form. When you click on this form link, basically, it will open this form. You can add your specification, what you need, and I'll upload it on the drive. There's no problem. And I'm going to share the drive link with the team as well. They will share it with you. You can put your content, what exactly you want here. If there is something you request, I will definitely put that in there. If it is valid and if it is legitimate, I will upload it to the drive. I'll share you the updates on the email. You're gonna get it all. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it open for all, available for all. There are still things uploading. Thing, yeah. Yeah, so things are going on great. Okay, this is the collection for Pentester Academy. There are so many great courses at Pentester Academy as well. These are some videos from their courses. You can also look in them. These are all premium guide stuff. So please do not report this drive. It's for you guys, right? So if you'll not report it, it's going to be good for you. These are free. I'm providing it to you for free. So enjoy, right? Yeah. So yeah, this is the drive. I'm sharing the drive link again for those who were lazy enough for not saving it. Trust me, it's going to be helpful for you guys. So it's better to save it than regret it later. So I'm going to share the drive link one more time. And I like the ExcelR team to kindly share it with the YouTube people and the other people in the chat rooms as well. There is a drive link. Okay. Yeah. So there it is. Yeah. So, okay, moving on. Also for burp suit, I have added special course training on burp suit. If you see, this guy is amazing. This is who I learned from, Mr. Bucky Roberts, the legend of burp suit. So here is a complete training on burp suit as well. There are some 20 new videos almost. He have explained it very well. You can also go through that for additional stuff. See, in 15 days, I cannot teach you the complete in-depth. Obviously, it takes months and months of trainings, right? So if you want some self-study material, I have given you enough. So I think it will be good for you guys, right? Okay. Now that is clear, I've shared the drive link already. Now let me also continue with what I was going to tell you. Just a second. The upload is still going on, so let's just keep it aside. Okay. Give me a second. I'm actually planning to show you this on one of my ex clients' website. Let me see if I can show you that. The same login bypass. So this is going to be a live client. So that will be interesting. One more thing, guys. When you're performing this attack on any website, it is very critical. Do not, I repeat, clear loud to everyone. Do not perform this attack without prior permission. This is a straightforward offensive attack on their databases. If you're doing it, you are owning the responsibility. They can hold you responsible for any kind of cybercrime because you are making a clear attempt to break into their database. So I repeat, do not try this without permission, because today, if you think that nobody can catch you, they can. I have worked with DRDO and we have caught people using VPNs also. So don't think that you're completely safe if you're just using some crappy VPN. It's never like that. Okay. So if you're doing it, please be responsible person and do it very carefully. Do not do it if you're not sure about it. Just forget about it. Okay. Only do it on the websites which are allowing you to test on the SQL servers. And you can try this on the clients on Burps on Bugcrowd. I've shown you the Bugcrowd and HackerOne platform. You can try it out there. Nobody's going to stop you. Nobody's going to hold you responsible, right? If you can read their policy framework. You can see if they are allowing you to make the SQL attacks. And if they are, then you can try it out. There is no problem. For practice purpose, you can do that. But if you're going to do it on government websites or private company website, they can easily find you out and, file a case against you. So don't fall for that kind of stuff. Rest, I am clearly stating it. I am not having any responsibility for any of you guys. I am giving you the statutory warning. So take care of that. Okay, PR is asking a good question. I don't know what's his name, PR. Can you please type your full name? It will be good. Okay, so PR is asking, how can we know that someone is hacked or someone have already hacked or visited our website without any permission? Okay, good question. See, when Okay, so talking about now database security, which is a complete different thing. For this, you really need to know how the database is actually configured in the first place. Then there are certain additional firewalls that you can add in the database based on what kind of manufacturer you have. Let's say if you have MySQL database, it's a different thing. If you have MongoDB, it's a different thing. If you have MS SQL, it's a whole different architecture altogether. If you have WordPress, completely different playground to play with. So yeah, it's highly variable. Frankly, there is no one certain way of doing it. There are many other ways of doing it, but you have to use the logic for that. And I'll see if I can show you some database protection like techniques in this short given time, because there's a lot of topics remaining like wireless hacking, like cryptography, like a little bit of mobile hacking. So I need to show that too. So I hope you guys can understand. Okay. Tomorrow, by the way, do not miss the session at any cost, because tomorrow I'm going to show you something called as a payload generation that can be used for both system hacking and web hacking. So do not miss the class at any cost. Even if you miss it, do not miss the recording, at least for that sake. Okay. I'm sharing the drive link again. Mr. Rahman Sophie have a question. Can you please unmute yourself and speak up, sir?
Yeah, hi Akash. Am I audible?
Hello. Yes, loud and clear. How are you?
Yeah, good. How about you?
I'm good. Thank you, sir. Yeah, please ask your question.
Yeah, that 1 or 1 equal 1, that username and password. It looks a serious concern actually. It's a new for me. And
I understand.
Yeah, like it's directly going to the admin of a website or to any other user. Like suppose a bank example you have taken.
Yep.
Right. So suppose there is a bank, ICICI Bank is there, suppose.
Correct.
So if I use this criteria like 1 or 1 equals 1 for both username and password, will it directly go to the admin of that particular bank, or will it go to a particular user or the customer of the
admin?
Bank? Yeah,
it will go to the admin. Yes, direct admin access. Right.
It looks a serious concern actually. It's totally. I mean, anybody we can understand that some good people are there, but some bad people are there as well, right?
Sure.
So if this is there, existing, so it becomes a serious concern for the database.
True, it is. Indeed, it is. And for this, there is a very simple solution, actually. I don't know. Okay, I'll explain you the solution for this also. So there is a concept of called whitelisting. I don't know if you have heard of this, and blacklisting. Right. Now, if you go by this concept, let's understand that there is nothing about racism, by the way. Whitelisting is allowing only a certain things. Let's say I have 5 users for my database, and I only allow 5 character strings. Let's say there is an Akash, there is Mr. Rahman, if I call you that. There is Ayush. There is, I think, who else? Could be anyone. Could be Rahul.
Okay.
Very common name, right? And Adam. Now, apart from these 5 usernames, if any other XYZ, any other entry is made, that will be rejected.
Okay.
You understand? So even if this statement is being passed, it will be rejected, because the script will be designed in such a way that only these 5 entries will be considered as valid. Otherwise, everything will be considered rejected.
Okay.
That's the concept of whitelisting, that you only allow a certain number of inputs. Right. That's all what you allow. In blacklisting, I can blacklist certain words. Let's say I want everyone to be able to connect with me, but I don't want Bhumika to connect. So I'm going to blacklist Bhumika. So apart from Bhumika, everybody else can connect with me, right? So that's blacklisting, that you remove the permission for a certain users only. So that's a concept of whitelisting and blacklisting. And for input validations, see, when we are providing security for input fields, that process is called input validation. And this is one of the very big topic in JavaScript that we also teach when we are teaching secure coding. So how to do input validation, so that we make sure that whatever the user is typing in, if there is any kind of malicious script like this one, like 101 equal to 1, it will automatically reject that, and only will accept the whitelisted characters, which are these ones.
Okay.
Now, if you take a look here, there is a equal sign that is in the username.
Yeah.
Now, what if in the input validation code, I say that I have blacklisted this character, the equal sign?
Mhm.
So obviously, if the username is going to add an equal sign, it will be automatically rejected no matter what kind of script he's going to design,
Okay.
because of that equal sign. And without the equal sign, he cannot create such a condition, right? So I can blacklist certain characters also. I can blacklist the plus symbol, the hyphen, because these should not be in the username. The username should be only
Okay.
alphabets. So that way I can
Okay.
also create an input validation system. So
Okay.
this all concept is actually a part of secure code generation.
Right.
We also call it DevSecOps.
Mhm.
For those who might have heard of it, it's called development security operations. So it is a process when we are securing the application while it is in the development process.
Mhm.
So for this, definitely you need the very strong language, command over the languages, like whatever is
Yeah,
being
yeah.
used to develop the software. So yeah, this is how you can actually protect it.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope this
Yeah.
answers the
Yeah. Yeah.
query.
Yeah. 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 Got it. Thank you
Great.
very much.
Great. No problem, sir. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I think PR have something to say. PR, if you want to say something, you can unmute yourself. No problem.
Hi,
Because
sir.
Hi, PR. Yeah.
Actually, means in some movies I saw like they used to find the people who are visited our website by using their IPs, and they used to means some packets will be saved in our database. With that, they used to find. Is that true?
See, when I create a website, all the
Sir.
scripts that are running in the website are designed by me. I am the developer. So I can add certain scripts that will make a log of all the visitors. It is possible, but that can only be done on the developer side, obviously,
sir.
right? If I have hacked into somebody's database, I can now add certain scripts in there because, of course, I'm the hacker, and I can also see those logs. So that's a whole different thing. But yes, it is possible. For that, definitely you need to hack into the database in the first place. So that's how it
Okay,
works.
sir.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, now let me show you another concept. You also have raised a question. Okay, I think Sonali have raised a question between the SQL injection and hash password. See, hash password is a complete different topic altogether. I'll teach you this in the cryptography section. Let's just wait for that because there's a lot of contextual detail I need to give. Otherwise, it will be just some random words I'm speaking. Whereas SQL injection is a process where you can add some malicious script in the website while execution of the website, like maybe in the input fields or in the username password or stuff like that. I'll also show you another database manipulation. Just take a look over here. In this example, here, please also take a look in the URL bar, okay, in this section of my browser. In the URL bar. This is a URL bar, right? Whatever I'm going to execute, as I told you, it goes in the parameter. That is fair enough, correct, right? Now, let me show you an example. It says user ID. If I put in here, let's say maybe 15, doesn't show anything. If I put maybe number 2, oh, it shows me for number 2. The first name is Gordon, second name is Brown. Number 4, Pablo Picasso. Okay, number 5, Bob Smith. Number 6. Oh, nothing for number 6. That means there are only 5 of them. Okay, so number 1 is admin. 2 is Gordon Brown. 3 is Hackney. 4 is Pablo Picasso. 5 is Bob Smith. Simple mechanism, right? Nothing much. Just taking a user ID, giving you the first name, last name. That's it. So what's happening is, if you understand the concept of it, visualize it. On the client side, it is taking in a parameter called ID, because if you'll see on the very top over here, the parameter is ID equal to 5, right? So whatever input I'm going to put, it will be replaced over here, right? In this section, my input will be placed. Now, it is important to understand something here. ID equal to whatever. ID is a parameter which is taking my information to the database, right? This goes in the database. The database will check that for this ID, what is the corresponding information for first name and last name, right? And whatever will be there, it will just pass on to my web browser. The first name this way and the last name this way. Let's leave the part of representation. I can represent it in a box, in different designs, graphic stuff. It is all a different thing. Let's just understand what is going on. This is the concept. Basic concept is based on the ID number, it shows you the current data, which is over or whatever it is in there. Yes, PR, you are right. Now, okay. All right. We have a feature in DVWA to see the source code also. So when I'm putting, let's say I type here test and I submit, the test is submitted. Because it was not a valid entry, the database didn't show me anything. It's okay. Let's take a look in the source, view source. When I do this, I'm able to see the code that how the website is developed. So let's try to understand it. I mean, not we don't need to understand everything, just the basics of it. Okay, what does it say here? Okay, it says select get UID. So get UID is the function. Get ID is the function actually, which will fetch the first name and last name from the user's database, where the user ID is this. See, this is an SQL statement. I'll write it down here for your better understanding. Select F name, comma, L name from users, where I can write it here also, where user ID equal to dash. See how simple it is. How simple it is. I am asking to select and show me the first name and the last name. Show me these values from where? From the users database, from a database called users. So basically, what it means to say is select values from database name where value equal to certain condition. Right. So I'm trying to fetch these values, the F name and the last name, from the database of users, where this value, the user ID, should be X. Where is X coming from? Obviously from the very top. Remember this place on the top? I'm marking the ID parameter. Whatever you store in that ID parameter, it will be replaced in the position of X. If I put test, it will put test here. If I will put number 5, it will put number 5. So it will get the first name and last name from this database of users where the user ID is 5. So for 5, whatever the F name and last name will be, it will show. For if it's number 6, whatever F name and last name will be, it will be shown. So this is a simple SQL command. That's what's going to the database. And database based on this command is going to respond to you back. See, this is how easy it is to write an SQL command, right? I'm very sure this will encourage you, because if you can understand this, trust me, you can crack SQL easily in less than a week, maybe. Maybe 4 or 5 days, give it 2 3 hours a day. It will be all good too. I think you can spare that much time. It's not that big of a deal. I've added some videos in the languages section. There is Python, there is SQL, there is Kotlin, there is C Sharp. There's some other languages as well. Training videos. You can also take a look at them. Okay, so my point here is this is where my input is going to be. Now, carefully take a look how the input is mentioned here. It's in these inverted commas. This is where my input is going to be. And then there is another what do you call this? Double quotes, right? It's a single quote and a double quote, right? So, yeah. So the statement starts with a double quote. There is a complete statement. Then there is my input here. This is the input. This is a statement. I don't care what is the statement, but I'm just writing statement because this is the place where the statement is going to be. So basically, where we have to focus it, it starts with a double quote. Then it ends with a double quote, and my input is going to be in 2 single quotes. This is the correct syntax of the SQL statement. Thank you so much, Sonali, for giving me the right word. Yeah. So this is the correct syntax for the SQL statement. Now, what if I make a mistake? Now, when I know the value should be in a single quote, what if I add another single quote here? What will happen? Anyone would like to tell me what will happen if I add another single quote here, which wasn't necessary? Can anyone tell me what will happen? If another single quote is added here, what's going to happen? Yes, for those who know a little bit of coding, they will clearly know it's a syntactical error. That means there are error in the syntax. The syntax is the proper, format of writing a code. So it's a syntactical error, right? It will say that there is this single quote, but I mean, we don't have the use of it, right? It's there unnecessarily. If a bracket is open, it needs to be closed. If I do it this way, another bracket over there, that is unnecessary and it's a syntactical error, correct? But the problem is this script over here that is created, this whole script, this one, right? This whole script is created by the developer, right? So how will I add a single quote in the script? How will I add it? Because I haven't hacked it yet, right? I'm just able to see the code the developer have made. But how am I able to add this single quote in there? Santesh is absolutely right. We can do it with the input field. Because, understand this very carefully, guys. The single quote was not there. It was only these 2 quotes. Number 1, number 2. The another one that just came in, it actually came in the input field. So if I'm putting number 5 in the input field, it goes with number 5. But along with the 5, if I put a single quote, it goes in there as well, isn't it? Interesting, right? Now it's interesting. So that means actually the inputs that are being taken, they should be taken as characters. There are 2 different things. Try to understand this, please. In a website, either there are characters or there are statements. Characters are nothing but alphabets and numbers and stuff. I can't like define that. You understand by the logic of it. Characters are just characters like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? Character strings, set of characters. A statement is a piece of code. right? Now in the input field, what should be taken? Should we take the character strings or should we take the statements? Antesh is correct. Again, anyone else? What should we take? We should take character strings, because if the developer allows me to add statements, I can cause chaos on the database, right? So the statement should not be allowed. But what if, how will I check? Okay, how will I check if I'm able to execute a statement? By adding a statement in the first place, right? And I can check that with a small, simple hack, very small, simple hack. And what is that hack? I'll show you. In the URL bar, if you will see, this is my complete input. Let's say I put number 4 and I press enter. The ID is equal to 4 right now. And if I copy this, I'll open this in a notepad for your visibility. Okay. So here ID is equal to 4. You can see that, right? So 4 is taken as of now, so far that I know, it is only taken as character string. But what if I add a single quote? Now, if it is taken as a character string, it will say that, it's an incorrect input, because I have data for only number 4, but I don't have data for 4 and a single quote, right? For example, let's not talk about single quote. What if I do this 4 star, right? Because the database entries only have number 4. It have no entry for 4 and a star, right? Or it does not have an entry for 4B or maybe for 4X. It only have entry for number 4. But if I do now a single quote, I just added another syntax over there, which is accepted by SQL. Mind it, it is accepted by SQL. Now, if I pass it through to the database, see what happens. I'm going to add a single quote after number 4 on the top in the URL bar, just like I showed you in the notepad. I know it's really small. Some of you might not be able to see it, but this is what I'm passing it. You know what? For your feasibility, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to erase everything and I'm going to paste it in there so you guys can be assured that that's what I'm doing. And I press enter. What does it say? It doesn't load it now. If you read this very properly, I'm going to copy the whole thing and I'm going to open this in the notepad. You have an error in the SQL syntax. Check the manual that correspond to your MySQL server version of the right syntax you use near this. You see, the 4 is stored in double quotes. And along with that, I added another quote, which is number 3rd. So it becomes invalid now, right? Is actually over here. This is what I added, right? So it says now, you know what? It's ending with 3 quotes, starts with 2. This is an error. And that's why it's not going to pass on. And this is how it actually creates an error. And this is how I can be assured that whatever I'm going to put in there, where is it going? It's going directly to the database. And it is being passed in the script, not as character strings, but as statements. Because now this error is not from the web server. This is from the database. The MySQL database is actually sending me the error, right? That means with the input field, I am not collecting with the server only. I'm able to manipulate the database also in one way or the other, right? This is a confirmation here. If you ever want to confirm, wherever you see the parameter, just add a single quote. And if you see the error, it's confirmed that the database is actually giving me this error, right? So this is what it confirms. And with this method, we can fetch a lot of things from databases. I am not going to show you the practical with SQL codes. Reason, because not everyone is very much familiar with SQL language. I want this session to be highly interactive. So let's just keep it with a single tool. And the tool's name is SQL map. I know there is already another map that you're dealing with and map, but trust me, SQL map is better. It will be fun. Let me just open my Kali real quick. I have it here. There you go. SQL map is a tool that comes automatically with your Kali or with your Parrot. Doesn't matter. Whatever you have, both of them works. Staying hydrated is very important, guys. Water is very important for you. Keeps your brain active. Okay. Yeah. Another tip, life tip for you, drink a lot of water. Okay, talking about SQL map, it comes pre-installed in your Kali, so you don't have to really bother about downloading it or whatever. It comes pre-installed. And usage is also very simple, frankly. I'll show you the usage. I'll show you the command for it. You type SQL map, and the command is very case sensitive. So make sure you type it very, very accurately. Don't type anything apart from what I'm showing. I mean, you can modify the command if you want. Okay, so I put a -u to provide the URL, that target URL that I want to work with. So the target URL is over here. This is my target URL. You see, I'll just select till here. And I'll go back and I'll paste it. Always paste the URL into double quotes, just like this. Okay. Next. Then you put --batch. See, SQL map is going to ask you a lot of configurations, yes or no questions. You actually should be starting up with the default settings because, of course, you do not know the in-depth configurations of SQL map. Start with the default. So to save your time from being bothered by clicking yes, 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 yes again and again, we do --batch. It will save your time. It will automatically select all the default settings and will not interrupt you manually again and again. So it will basically, it's just to save time. So it's a simple command. You can see over here, SQL map u and the URL and batch. Now, before batch, I can also add something like called, what do I want to get out of it? What am I using SQL for? That's a $1 million question, right? So the first thing that I want to get is the name of the databases, that how many databases you actually have, because a server can have multiple databases, can have 4, 5, 7, 10 databases, doesn't matter. Because on one web server, there can be multiple websites, right? So multiple website means multiple databases, or for any other purpose, the server may have multiple databases. So what I'm going to ask first is, show me all the database, --dbs. This will list all the databases for me. Okay. So now when I execute this command in Kali, see how it works. Damn it, I'm not able to paste it in here. Let me just type it real quick. Okay. I'll be faster. Don't worry. Sudo SQL map -u double quotes HTTP 192.168.1.9. Then it's /vulnerabilities. Always misspell this. Okay, vulnerabilities /SQLI/?ID equal to 4, right? Okay, fair enough. -dbs -batch. Fair enough. So this is my SQL command that I will be executing. And when I press enter, let's see how it works. Put my password. There you go. Okay, So SQL Map starts with a legal disclaimer. Reason, I told you, it is a direct attack on their database. It is an offensive tool, guys. Okay, it's a very, very offensive tool. If you're going to use it with your own responsibility, right? I don't take any responsibility for you guys. I'm just telling you, kindly do not use it for any other purpose. I'm just telling it for your own good, because you can be tracked, you can be traced back, you cannot escape. There are so many good ways to in these days in terms of forensics. So yeah. Okay, I have came across a lot of college kids, getting in these kind of traps. So stay away from it. This is just for an example. Only practice in DBWA, practice on El Toro Mutual. It's a demo website. Test on the websites on vulnerweb.com. Test on the platforms in Portswigger Labs. Nobody's stopping you, right? Try there. Or at least take permissions from the developer of the website, from the owner of the website, that if you can really do that. If you're doing this on a website, write a mail, ask permissions, and then try it out. Nobody's going to say anything. So here, the SQL map is going to do all the work for me. You see, it's saving time. And it says it does not seem injectable. Okay, there is a problem here. Try to increase the risk options if you like to perform more tests. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. So basically, okay, let me just a second. Did I put the right URL? That's a good question, Akash. BWA vulnerabilities, SQLI question. Yeah, I'm gonna put that submit now, and submit equal to submit. Okay, let's see if this works now. See, if I don't put batch in my command, if I remove the batch, see what will happen. It will stop in between. Do you want to follow? Yes. Again, yes. So to save time from these kind of malware interruptions, because it will keep stopping and asking me questions, right? So it's better to provide all the defaults by just simply adding a batch, and you can sit back and relax, leave it, go for a walk, have a cup of coffee, and SQL will do your work. Right. Okay, it does say the same thing now. What's wrong with DVWA? Okay, I have to explain you this concept real quick. See, SQL map actually works very in depth. Okay, there are certain levels here. Just a second. Okay, so there is a thing called levels and risks. The range of levels is 1 to 5. And the range of risk is 1 to 3. Now, what does it mean? Just a second. What's the question here? Okay, somebody's asking me to do it on test fire. Sandesh, you can try it on test fire. There's no problem. Okay, I'll answer this question very soon. Jaydeep, don't worry. Okay. See, levels are the depth level of the website. The website is created in form of architecture because there are so many folders. There are folders inside the folder, and then there are so many files, and then there are folders. So it's like a hierarchical structure that is created here in a tree format, right? So when you do the highest level, that is level 5, that means you're going to the in-depth of the website, to the deepest depth of the website, and you're trying to find out the vulnerability in all the pages, right? So based on how deep you want to go inside a website, you can choose your level. So let's say by default it is on level 1. That means on a basic level it is not able to penetrate through this database. But let me try to go a little bit more deeper here, and I give level number 4, let's say. Okay, level 4 this way. And additionally, when we talk about risk, actually the risk is how much disruption you want to make on the target. By default it's 1. That means it will just execute some basic level scripts. But if I give risk 3, that is the highest risk, this will actually execute some scripts that may cause some harm to the database. It may harm, it may take down the database, it may cause some functions to stop, it may cause a high number of traffic, it can cause a lot of stuff. So risk is associated with that. So sometimes you have to increase the risk and go a little bit more deeper to make sure the SQL is able to get the databases. Because on a surface level, it might not be penetratable, but if you go a little bit more deeper, it might be able to, hack the databases that you really want. It can fetch those databases. So let's try executing with levels and risk. Okay. Actually, that's the kind of also the recommendation given here. Try to increase the level and risk value. So let's give it a try. I'll add here hyphen level number 5 and hyphen risk number 3, the highest forms for both. Enter. Let's see now. See, it's going a little bit more slower now because it's going more deeper inside the website and seeing all the complete architecture and trying out some more riskier attempts to get the database. So that's what's happening. For those who know SQL, they can maybe understand what's happening here. For those who do not, it's okay. Maybe someday you will be able to get it once you learn SQL better. Okay, by the way, the attendance link is in the chat box. So kindly do fill out the attendance in the meanwhile if you want. Okay, this is a good question. Santesh puts up the question. What connects SQL map with the website URL to get this much information? Awesome question, by the way. See, SQL map is another tool that is in... just a second, I have to reply to this chat. I'll get back to your question. Just a second, please. The link is not working, I think. I don't know. It's not working on my side. Okay. Okay, Santesh's question, what was that? Yeah, what connects SQL map with website's URL to get this much info? See, SQL map is a tool which is written in the one and only great language, Python. Now, Python have numerous libraries which can communicate with different functionalities and services, in very efficient manner. Now, SQL map will take inputs from you, like your URL, like your cookies, maybe some additional data, and it will pass on to that URL through API calls or maybe through certain scripts and get the information in exchange. And basically, what's happening here is, while I just showed you a simple script execution like 1 or 1 equal to 1, now multiply the complexity of the script by 20 and consider SQL map doing that for you. You get it? So that's what SQL map is actually doing in the background. I'm just sitting back, relaxed. I'm just talking with you guys on the chat box, and that's what SQL map is doing. It's saving my time. It's executing all possible scripts on the target, and in exchange, it will give me the result. That's how SQL works. It's a simple program in Python, basically. That's what it is. Can I block SQL map on my URL so it won't touch? As I said, input validation is one of the best security that you can provide. Provide validation checks, provide whitelisting on your applications, on your websites, on your web server, and it will be secure enough. It takes, if you talk about like a simple static website, a generic website, you can do it maybe in half an hour if you know good coding. If not, then maybe you have to give 3-4 hours based on how big the website is. If it's a small little generic website, you can save it. It's very simple. It depends on a lot of things, actually. It depends on what kind of servers you have, what kind of software you're using, what third-party integrations you're having activated, and how the code is developed, who was the developer, what kind of logics he have actually used, if development was done with a secure coding environment. So there's a lot of if and buts here. But yeah, based on all the variables, I think if you know a little bit of SQL, and if you know validation checks, if you know input validations, you can make it safe, no problem. See, best thing about cybersecurity that I like is it's a hybrid of all the domains. It's not like, see, for becoming a network engineer, you have to be good at networking. To become a developer, you have to be good at programming. To be good with hardware, you have to be good with electrical engineering, right? I'm just saying random stuff. I know. So my point is, for becoming a cybersecurity expert, you have to be good at everything. To call yourself an expert, you have to be an expert in literally everything: development, IoT, softwares, hardwares, talking about communication, networking, configurations, everything you have to be expert at, because you are not at the base level. You're not at the level where you're creating stuff. You are protecting it. So you have to be a step ahead from the developers. Where developers stops thinking, that's where you have to start thinking, so that you know that this is what they have created, how I can make it better. Right? So that's what you have to do. The toughest job in cybersecurity domain are two. One of them is DevSecOps, other is malware analysis. Because here you have to literally grind your brain out to find the solutions. I have worked as a malware analyst myself, and I know how tough it is. And it takes a lot of experience. There is this company called Red Hunt Labs. You can Google about them. They are one of the best leading company in malware analysis. And I had an opportunity to work with them on an open project. So yeah, they gave me a lot of information about this thing. And this was back in 2020, actually, when I was on a project with them. So malware analysis is a process where you are given a malware. First of all, a malware is in itself very difficult to understand, and then you have to reverse engineer it. You have to completely see what's going behind the scene, and on top of that, you have to find a solution to fix it. So you can get it, like how difficult it can be for to understand a malware, then find a solution to it. So yeah, it takes a lot. I'm not scaring you guys. I'm not overwhelming you guys. I'm just preparing you for what you are actually getting into if you really want to become a cybersecurity expert. So yeah, you can actually, but It takes a lot. Oh, the Kali went to sleep. Don't sleep right now, please. Now, in comparison to the previous attacks that we have seen, it's taking really longer, right? Because I'm going really deeper now. I have went like to the level 5th depth. I could have gone to 3 also, it could have worked, but I don't know why I decided to go on level 5. If you guys are trying on your side, go for 3. I think it will work out. Maybe we should wait for it to complete. I think we have nothing else to do till then. SQL map, again, just for those who ignored me or didn't heard me the last time. SQL map is a highly offensive tool. It is not a testing tool. It is a hacking tool. Okay. So if you're using it, use it very carefully. Make sure you have the permissions. Make sure you are in the laws. You are binding to all the laws. You are in the scope. You're not going out of scope, not out of bounds. So yeah, make sure about that. And okay, Rohan asked me a very, very generic question. Cybersecurity versus ethical hacking. Let me tell you guys, do not embarrass yourself in front of experts when you will be coming up for interviews. These terms like called cybersecurity, right? Or ethical hacking or information security, or what do they call? Data security. It's all the same thing. It's all about digital protection. You can bend the words however you want. It's the same thing. Ethical hacking, frankly speaking, is a term generated by marketing experts to sell courses online. They cannot use terms like cybersecurity because it is very overwhelming. Information security talks about a lot of, again, professional stuff. But hacking is a catchy word, right? But they cannot use it because it's illegal word as well. It is a very blacklisted word. So they added an ethical against hacking. So it becomes ethical hacking now. It's just a marketing gimmick. It's nothing but cybersecurity. That's what exactly it is. So yeah, don't fall for this stuff. It's all the same stuff. If somebody's trying to sell you a course in the name of ethical hacking is different than cybersecurity, it's not. It's the same thing. You learn cybersecurity, they will teach you the same stuff. It's just that they want to sell their courses. That's why they're doing it. This is the tip for you guys, if in case you are looking for it. So yeah. So Santesh is asking me a good question. While the scan is going on, let me explain you about a few certifications. He asked me what all certifications are available and important for entry point of view in cybersecurity domain. See, first certificate, these are a couple of certifications that I recommend that you should get when you are getting into this domain. The first is by EC Council. This is one of the most leading companies who provides this certification, and their certificates are, valid worldwide. It's like the Google of ethical hacking in a way. Not actually, but in a way. So there are certificates like CEH, the basic one, Certified Ethical Hacker. People have made it very underrated certificate, but trust me, who are having CEH, if I am taking the interview, I can knock them down in 3 questions only. Trust me when I say this. I've made this challenge with EC Council also. Then there is ECSA, which is EC Council Certified Security Admin, right? Security Analyst, sorry. These are 2 basic certificate by EC Council. There is another organization called CompTIA. They also provide a couple of certification, like there is Security Plus by CompTIA. There is CISA. This is a little bit advanced, but it is also a good one. Actually, it's Cyber Security Analyst certification by CompTIA. Analyst certificate, yeah. Then after this, these are some of the basic ones. There is also another company called eLearn, but I mean, they have a certification called EJPT. It's good enough. It's not that great, but still good enough. These companies are like, considering them. These are some basic ones. Okay, these are the basic certifications by EC Council, CompTIA, and eLearn Security. There are another certifications by EC Council as well, which are a little bit higher level certificate that I consider. EC Council provides a certificate called LPT, which is Licensed pen tester. It is very tough, by the way, just to let you know, it's very tough to crack. I have it, just to brag about it. CompTIA keeps CISA and everything else in the same thing. It's like basic fundamental stuff. There is this organization called Offensive Security. Yes, this is an organization. They have some of the most elitist certifications they provide. One of them is OSCP, which is Offensive Security Certified Professional. If you have OSCP, trust me, you'll get a great package. Great package. When I say great package, it will be more than 10 LPA, minimum more than 10 LPA, minimum, right? Then there is OSCE, which is Offensive Security Certified Expert, which is again even a level up than professional. There's so many certificates by offensive security. If I start listing them all, it will take a long time. So these are one of the most elite certificates that you can go for. Then there is this organization called ISC Square. They have a CCSP, which is Certified Cloud Security Professional. There is CISSP, which is a next level of CACSP. CISSP and CCSP requires good experience, at least like 5-year experience, just to appear for the examination. To write the exam, to get the certificate only, you need 5 years of experience. So you cannot get it right now if you're beginning. For beginning, I think these many certifications will be good enough for you. I'll recommend, see, getting certificates are very important, but not just run behind certificates, because I have seen people getting great jobs without a single piece of document or a certificate stating that they are good at it, just based on merit and skills. If you have it, you don't need these papers to verify, but these papers are good. These certificates are good once you have great skills to justify both of them, So go for that. Most of the companies, even the company I work for, we are looking for skills, not for certificates. Certificates are additional bonus, of course, but if you have skills, you'll be hired. So don't focus more on certificate part. Rohan says he's learning from various platforms for more than 1 year and want more platform who provide advanced information for free. Okay. See, not everyone is going to be as generous as I am. Like the way I shared you the Drive link, which have hundreds of courses and hundreds of videos, hundreds of material that can make you, if you trust me, if you go through that material like dedicatedly, you will land an easy, great job. Just after your college, you will get a job, no problem. And that to a great, decent amount job, not like 5 or 4 LPA. It's very petty, frankly. But for a cybersecurity expert, it's very low. You easily get like 8 to 10 LPA if you are good at skills. And if you are a very fresher with no experience, easy 6 to 7 LPA you can get, no big deal. What my point is, okay, for those who don't have the link, I'm going to share it again. Please save it, guys. I cannot pin the comment or the chat somehow, but I'm sharing it again and again. Zoom should provide a way to pin the chats, that will be better for all of you. But it's okay. We'll try to compensate. All right. So my point is, don't go run behind certificates, and nothing good comes free. Nothing good will come free. To a certain extent, you can learn with self-study material, no problem. I have done this mistake in my career. I don't want you guys to do it. I got my mentors very late. I should have went to them in the very beginning period of my time, because I struggled a lot. I struggled at least a couple of years in, when I was beginning in my career. So I should have went to them very earlier stages so that I could have become even more better and my struggle would have been saved. So always get a mentor, always go for someone who can teach you instead of just learning by yourself. See, when you learn by yourself, it's good. Self-study is never harmful. But when you have a mentor, you can get the explanations apart from your perspective. Sometimes you might be stuck at a problem, you will not be able to find a solution. But if somebody gives you an expertise from their experience, maybe it will it will become easier for you. So I always give a recommendation: get a mentor. It's very important. Secondly, Don't focus on free stuff. Don't focus on free material or free certifications only. Start looking into professional stuff. You want to build a portfolio. If you'll build it out of free stuff, nobody's going to care about it, because the free stuff do not have a validation. How are you going to justify that in your portfolio, right? How will you actually justify that you spend 2 years of your time on free certifications? Nobody's going to believe that, right? Until unless you have a document to prove it. So you have skills, you have document, easy stuff, right? So try to keep the balance. And if you're talking about free stuff, you should definitely go for the drive link I've shared. It have a lot of free stuff for you. I don't know where else you can get these things, but I'll keep on uploading. I've shown you the form link as well earlier. You can rewatch the videos, this video recording. You can go in the form link, check the form, and see what you get out of it. I think you'll be good. The scan isn't over yet. Why is it not over yet? It's still going very slow, guys. I am so sorry. I didn't really expect it will go this long. I should have tried with level 3. Still going on. Okay. Okay, if you guys are going to try this on your side, honestly, try it with a little lower level, maybe with a level 2 or level 3. That might work out. I think Rakib have a question. Please go ahead, buddy. You guys, you can unmute yourself, or you can put that in the chat box. I don't mind. Yeah, for the certificate for this session, I think you can speak with the ExcelR team. They will be able to give you better information. Yeah. No problem. Okay. So Pooja says she have already gone for CompTIA Security Plus. Dear Pooja, if you can see in my drive, I have added a lot of stuff for CompTIA. So you can see here, you go in study material, and in study material, there is a complete dedicated folder for CompTIA, I think. Oh, I have added, okay, no. Here in plural site, I have CompTIA Security Plus. I'm very sure about it. Okay, if you can't find something, just type in search. It's better. CompTIA. Oh, there you go. I have a certification guide here for CompTIA Security Plus. I have this drive. Yeah, see, there it is. I got it. Yeah, it's in the collection itself.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Ali.
Sir, can you share, sir?
Mr. Ali, your voice is breaking a lot. Can you please type that in the chat box? I think there is something wrong with the reception on your end. Please type it in the chat box. I'll really appreciate it. So I've added a lot of stuff in my drive. If you want for any certification in specific or anything like that, guys, please go in my drive and just look for that certification. You might find it. If in case you do not find it, I have also added another way for you guys to ask for that kind of material. Just go on the online training drive. In the main drive, you will see contact the drive admin. There is a form link that is for requesting a specific content. I do provide the content if you would ask me for. fill this form for any specific content request. When you click on it, you will be able to fill the form. Just mention what kind of specific content you need in this section over here. Fill the form, submit it back to me. Everything will be good, right? So yeah, that way you can request any specific kind of content that you want to work with or you want to access. Okay, I'll request the team. Can you please share the drive link in the group? Some of the people are asking. Chana, can you hear me?
Yeah, I talked with Amar, but Amar told we can't able to share in the group, so it is available in LMS.
Oh, it's in the LMS, right? So,
Yeah.
guys, can you please check the link in the LMS? She just updated. Yeah, so it's in there. No problem. Let's take a look what's going on in our SQL map. Is it still going? Oh my God, it's still going on. I am so sorry, guys. I should have gone for the lower risk or at least a lower level. Okay, I can't really do much. So what I'll do is I'll wait for the scan to complete. I'll keep this machine as it is. I'll show you guys in tomorrow's session. Tomorrow's session is going to be very important. After seeing the SQL map, I am going to show you something which relates to both system hacking and web hacking, creating payloads. So kindly do not miss tomorrow's session, okay? Try to attend the live session because it will be more interactive and you'll be able to ask some questions if you have any. Right. And on that note, I think we can end today's session here. It's not going to end anytime soon. So I'll keep it this way. This machine is not going anywhere. It will be turned on till tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow on that case. We came to the conclusion. Thank you so much, guys, for today's session and for your contribution here. Back to the team. Till then, till tomorrow, take care of yourself on the internet. Do not do anything wrong. Stay hydrated. Stay safe. I'll see you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Akash. Guys, do you have any queries? Please put it in the chat box. I will try to address it. I'm sharing the attendance link in the chat box. Please make sure it. And Akash also shared the drive. Take it from the chat box. For YouTube people, I already shared. If you want, means I can share that as well. Sorry, Rakib. I already talked with management, so we can't able to share that link in WhatsApp. You will get that link in LMS. Okay, you can take from there. Dear, how can I check my attendance percentage? You can't able to check your attendance now. At the end of the program, you can get to know. Rashi, yesterday I could not fill the attendance form. I had always mentioned in WhatsApp group. Also, please mark me present for yesterday class. Rashi, in one day attendance, it can't affect on your attendance, so no issue. So daily, if you didn't join class, means you have attendance in LMS also. There also you can mark, no issue. Aditya, ma'am, what about certificate of the program? It will be mailed as, yeah. Aditya, after finishing this program within 7 days, we will send to your mails, valid emails. Okay. PR, can you add me in LMS? PR, do one thing. Drop an email to edl@excelr.com. Okay. They will send you that LMS link, so you can get to that. Saroja, no problem, ma'am. Any issues in getting certificate, ma'am? No. You have to attend 9 sessions, so you will get participation certificate. LMS link. PR, do mail again, no? Till now, I didn't get any response. Okay. Try again. If same means tomorrow, I will share. I will arrange that. Okay. Please try again for the LMS link. If it is not possible, means tomorrow I will do that. Okay. Is there any queries from YouTube? There is no questions for me. Okay, in Zoom also there is no questions. Any queries? Okay, then we'll wind up the session. Manoj, can you please share the attendance link? Yes, 1 minute, I'll share. Okay, then we'll wind up the session for today. Tomorrow we'll meet you on the same time. So up to then, take care, guys.